You got to make time for your play. It must be stewarded by you. You have to build a relationship with it, especially right now in these very chaotic times, because there is no future. We are living in the imagination of a wannabe dictator who really is nothing more than a con man with a bunch of cronies who need money, who need capital to make their kind of fantastical imaginations of this dystopian future come to reality. But really, there is no future in that. It's just about them in their kind of present state of chaotic undertakings because they believe that they have every right to do so, right? So we are living again in somebody else's imaginations that ain't got shit for us except destruction and decay. So what do you do when you are meeting or having to live in the midst of this chaotic storm? You have to foster your imagination. We have to foster our imaginations individually and collectively, because if this is not working, if the dream that many of us were sold, whatever generation, shape, or form it was, does not provide the output that it said it does, but it is still requiring our offering, our sacrifice, our bodies at its altar, and it is never enough. It is always wanting more and asking more of us and giving less and less in return, right? Well, then we have to be able to take that, believe that, and then reimagine what we want as a society, as societies, as collectives, as communities. So this is why play is so important right now, to call in the spirit of imagination so that you can actually be in the body, allowing the body to also be part of the creation of whatever you are doing, so that you can figure out what seeds you really do need to plant. But in order to plant those seeds, you got to ask yourself, is the ground itself fertile enough? Is it prepared enough for me to be able to plant that seed so we can watch it grow in whatever shape or form it does? So this is why I am doing the monthly drop-in play dates with curiosity sessions, okay? So I'm going to start with 2 sessions this month in March because I'm in the middle of a move. So I'm starting the move, and I'll be moving all this month into next. So by May, June, these will be weekly, but for right now, I'm doing 2 a month. Again, until May or June, I'm going to have weekly drop-in sessions, 60 to 90 minutes. It's for the folks at groundscape level and higher. Just come in and you're committing to play. You're committing to your curiosity. You're committing to your creativity. You're committing to your body. What I'll be doing is I'm committing to my music. So if you don't know, I'm part of a duo, a group called Shy Marinage with Forrest Brooks, and we are creating music together. We have our first in-person live performance May 22nd at Dorothy's in Chicago on the West Side. I'll have more information about that later. And we are doing these kind of vibe curations that involve conversations, music, libations in intimate settings as a way to foster community through a Black queer lens, like trying to bake the futures that we imagine into the present, that juke joint and ring shout together. So that's Shy Mirror. So what I'll be doing is I will have different playlists that I have curated that I'll be playing, and then I will use Pomodoro style, so 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, to just work on something, play with something, create something. It could be a project that you've neglected that you want to come back to. It could be a time in which you say, fuck it, I just want to lay down and listen, or I want to dance. It could be your own dance party. Whatever needs to come out. This is a time that you ground in your feet in order to allow your head to speak. And in doing so, you figure out what type of modality wants to come out. Is it the fingers that need to move in some kind of way through writing? Is it the mouth that needs to come out and you're singing or dictating? Whatever it is. But it's a time to make space for you and your play, building a relationship with it so that it can trust you to show up for you. And when you can show up for you in your creativity, your imagination, your kind of daydreaming, then actually you will be able to show up for others, because the dreams can come together in different ways. So in those 5 minutes off, what we'll do is just, go do whatever you need. The music will still be going. If you want to talk about the process, you can, of what's coming up. If you don't want to, that is totally fine, right? But then what we'll do at the end of the 2, we'll do 2 or 3 sessions of those Pomodoro styles. And at the very end, I'll close it out. And then we'll come back again the next week, every 2 weeks until May, June, and then every week. Okay. So You got to make time for your play, y'all. You have to take it seriously. This is Saturn and Pisces energy where Saturn is transiting right now, right? We have a responsibility to our humanity. We have a responsibility to our growing into our adulthood, growing into the authority that we say or claim we want to have, right? And if the authority that we are supposed to be beholden to cannot hold it, then we have every right to claim it back. But if we're claiming that authority back, what are we doing with it? How are you working with it? Do we believe the ways authority has been shown to us, put upon us, enforced upon us these past few centuries? And if we do, then what can we imagine right now? This is Mars and Cancer energy. What are we having to drive and bring into fruition that is needed when it comes to care? When it comes to building the care between ourselves so that we can be nourished in that kind of mothering energy, right? That we all need. It's not about a gender. It's about an energy of nurturing and care. Because human beings, whether we like it or not, need one another to actually just not only survive, but thrive. And that is why we have something called culture. So what is the culture that we're trying to foster once again? And creativity is a big part of that. So if you can show up for your creativity and it trusts you and you make time and space for it and learn how to work with it, you don't have to wait for so-called inspiration. You can enact it at will as you learn to work with it. So let's play, y'all. I'm going to have these again at the groundscape level and higher. Drop in Playdates with Curiosity. If you can't stay the full time, that's okay. We'll drop in. If you don't want to talk, that's okay. We are going to be fostering our relationships with curiosity and play. So we also are fostering our relationships with time. And can we give things time to nurture, to foster, to kind of work itself out as we go into a flow that then makes sense for us individually and collectively. So let's play, y'all. And in playing, we can start to imagine the societies, the collectives, the communities we say we want, and then actually bring them into reality. All right. Till next time, y'all. Talk to you. For this and more, join me on my Patreon, Embodied Strategic Dreaming. Over there, I go more into depth about how we work with our dreams and our imaginations and the dreamscapes as a means of strategizing the kind of futures we say we want and then actually bringing them into reality. But in order for us to do that, we have to embody our reality. So this is when we talk about the human and humanity so much. So in my Patreon, we have things like the drop-in Playdates with Curiosity. I also have watch parties. Currently, we are watching Lovecraft Country as a way to talk about what it means to believe the monsters that are knocking at the door and then work with our own magic as a way to understand that those monsters can only be there by them taking from us. So what does it mean to kind of take it back? Through kind of the fantastical, through the magical, through the conjure that has real life consequences. So we talk about that in a lot more by do our watch parties, and then we do group conversations. I also do divination study sessions. I'm an astrologer as well as an anthropologist and an artist. And so monthly at the soundscape level and higher, what we do is do an hour and a half to 2 hours session on a divination practice. Right now I'm going through astrology and breaking it down so that folks can understand how to interpret their charts, at least at a few and fundamental levels. And then from there, we'll talk about other divination systems with the end goal of folks being able to create their own divination tools as we learn more about not just different practices like cards and fire or cowrie shells and the like, but also the fundamental elements and directions and correspondences of nature so that we understand that everything is elemental. So when you understand those elements and build from there, then we can understand how to read and work with those elements, okay? So I got that and a lot more over on my Patreon. So tiers start as low as $5 a month and they go up from there. And at every level, there is a way to engage with this practice and process that I called Embodied Strategic Dreaming. So come and dream with me there.